Hey guys, Clumsy here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Thank you for all the amazing feedback, comments and suggestions in the previous videos. Hope you guys are enjoying it. And first, I'd like to congratulate everyone because as this video is released, the simulator itself should have been publicly released already. So, hope you guys got your hands on it. See you in the skies. Anyway, for this video, we are starting off based on a viewer suggestion from Drow. Thank you, Drow, for the suggestion where we start off in Clark International. See a couple of airliners there in the distance, but there are some GA planes as well. And then we travel north, actually southwest, that direction more or less, towards Mount Pinatubo. I think that's Mount Pinatubo right there. That in the distance should be Mount Arayat. Oh my goodness, who is that? Can I see? Let me show you again. Where is he or she? Yeah. Scary stuff. Let's not do that again. Okay, but yes, we'll be flying with the Robin DR400. Very new to this plane, but it seems to be very user-friendly, perfect for flight training and for newbies like me. So let's go inside the cockpit and start this up. I'm going to enable my track IR later when we start flying, but for this startup procedure, I think it's better I keep it this way for now. Alright, parking brake is set, mixture is full, battery is on. Let's turn on the fuel pump. You see the fuel pressure climbing there. You hear it as well. The throttle, just push it around an inch, centimeter forward. Set magnetos to both. And the starter itself should be somewhere here in this red button here. And there we go. Engine is alive. From there we can turn on the alternator. That should charge the batteries. We can also turn on the radios. That looks good. And we can go and check, align the compass with the heading. If you guys are familiar, so this is the compass, right? But they can be like mismatched, and so you would have to like adjust them from time to time. Does anyone know why? I always didn't get the concept behind that, why they like get desynchronized. Anyway, so I'll try to also work with air traffic control a bit, just so we can get a bit more realism and simulation of how things look, even in a VFR situation like this, even if we're not doing a proper flight rules. Let's get the weather.
7. Sky condition, few clouds at 600 feet. Temperature 14. Dew point 13.
14.
Altimeter 29.902. Visual runway 2 left and ILS runway 2 in use. Landing and departing runway 2 left and runway 2. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Quebec.
Alright, we have Quebec. Let's tune into clearance. And actually, maybe ground is where we need to tune in. So we can say we are departing. So the plan for today, as I mentioned, maybe I should have opened this in the beginning. We start off in Clark International here, depart via runway 2, as that seems to be the active runway. And I think the surrounding city should be Clark and then Angeles nearby. I'm very poor in geography, as you guys know, and have trouble enough as it is with driving here via car. Much more flying, but we'll try to enjoy the scenery nonetheless. So that's Mount Pinatubo right there. We'll try to not open this map the entire time, so let's just follow like the landmarks. Maybe we can follow in these bodies of water. They seem to be crawling towards the peak of the volcano anyway. So we'll try that. So we'll depart via runway 2 here. And we can turn right, turn to the east. Get a bit of sightseeing. This road that you're seeing, this one, that's actually SC-Tex. So we should be able to trace it, do a bit of sightseeing in the city, and then we can break off, head to the west towards Mount Pinatubo. And all that time we'll be climbing because Mount Pinatubo has an elevation of around 5,840 feet or something. So at the very least we should be at the 6,500 so we can see the peak, right? But anyway, let's go ahead. So we will be departing to the east.
Clark ground, Robin Romeo Papa, 1 Charlie Lima with Quebec request taxi to the active departure to the east. Robin Romeo Papa, 1 Charlie Lima taxi to and hold short of runway 2 left via taxiway Alpha Bravo. Contact tower on 118.7 when ready.
Alpha Bravo. So 2 left. That's good. That's
taxi
near
to
to
and
us.
hold short runway 2 left using taxiway Alpha Bravo Robin 1 Charlie Lima.
So this is runway 2 left, but I'm not sure of which one is Alpha and Bravo taxiway. It doesn't really say here. So what we can do, I'll ask pushback from this lady, this scary lady. Let's get rid of the parking brake. That might be a bit tricky, a bit deadly, pushing back with the propeller right in front there, but that's her problem. Let's not look. Alright, but let's go Alpha and Bravo. I wish they would have put in the taxiways here, but I mean, common sense dictates that should be somewhere here, and given that this is a very long runway, I think you can actually depart midfield, like go through here and just start from here and now need to start from the very beginning of the runway. There also seems to be currently a bug with the pushback. You see, it kind of is confused how to make that all work. But there you go. So we are getting pushback here now. I'm not sure how you can you actually steer? Oh, you can. With smaller planes, you can actually use your other pedals to steer. To push back like so. So you can push back to this point. Is that the right direction? Oh, that's super hard though. Just leave it. Leave it, leave it. Doesn't want to go. Stop. I'm okay. She doesn't want to let go anymore. Shift P. Oh, there we go. So apparently shift and right shift are different. So, alright. So let's go ahead and enable track IR now. Perfect. So I can move my head easily. Let's keep this open. We're going to assume that Alpha and Bravo are right here. So we'll turn left. Let's go ahead and turn on some of the lights, beacons. We should have opened that right when I started this plane. Alright. Fuel pump will turn that on later. There we go.
Robin 1 Charlie Lima, hold position, caution, other traffic.
Oh wow. That's pretty cool. Hold
position, Robin 1 Charlie Lima.
So they can actually direct traffic in this airport. I haven't known that they have visibility on that. Is someone else taxiing? Do I see anyone? No, I don't see anyone. Okay. Anyway, let's go do this. I guess they won't mind. Set flaps 1 notch for takeoff. I love also the very
Robin
subtle
1 Charlie
sounds.
Lima, continue taxi.
See.
Roger, Robin 1 Charlie Lima.
I love the very subtle sounds that the cockpit makes, cabin, like the shakes and everything. Attention to detail there. Let's go ahead and switch to tower. We are right here before the runway. Turn on landing lights. Maybe put some lighting in here as well. So when we stop here, we should get takeoff clearance.
Clark Tower Robin Romeo Papa. 1 Charlie Lima ready at runway 2 left departure to the east. Robin Romeo Papa. 1 Charlie Lima cleared for takeoff runway 2 left east departure approved.
Nice.
Cleared for takeoff runway 2 left Robin 1 Charlie Lima.
Cleared for takeoff. Robin 1 Charlie Lima. Did I forget anything? I might have. This is why you have checklists always. Nav lights. Ito heat, but probably we don't need as much. Alright, let's line up here. What's this guy doing now? There we go. Alright, full power for takeoff. Push the throttle all the way through. Maintain center line by applying right rudder. At 100 kilometers per hour. By the way, yeah, the speed of this plane, most of the measures they use kph. So at 100 kilometers per hour, we can rotate, keep that runway heading, and then we'll move to the east once we get this a bit more settled down. Flaps are going up. And let's go and start some sightseeing. Mount Arayat. Do you guys want to see Mount Arayat? I think we can skip that for now and focus on Mount Pinatubo over there. The big boy. But I also found that with this plane, it is very sensitive to mixture control.
Lima, continue for east departure. I will contact you next when you leave my airspace.
Alright, let's acknowledge that.
Clark Tower Robin Romeo Papa. 1 Charlie Lima continue for east departure.
There we are. Why am I losing airspeed? I think I'm banking too sharply. That's SC Tech supposedly. I saw SM Clark here. It's a very distinct structure because it's like a huge white building that covers a huge area. I think that's the one. SM City Clark. Something like that. Right, let's go. That's SC Tech's. Oh, beautiful clouds here. And the lighting is just super realistic, huh? We should be able to turn off landing and taxi lights now. Let's just continue our climb through here. Now for the climb, we would want to maintain 150 kph. That is that one right there. So it does have a knots indicator, but if you refer to the checklist, most of the stuff it's referring to, it's like, yeah, it's showing kilometers per hour here. It's quite interesting. So, yes, I love how the houses are lined up like so. You have condominiums, you have houses, you have different types of buildings, and my goodness, this just looks so real, doesn't it? That looks so real. So yeah, what I was mentioning is as we climb ahead, and I guess this is very normal for planes like this, even for the Cessna, you'll notice that the RPMs will start to degrade lower, and that's because we have to play with the mixture a bit. That red knob right there, that balances the fuel and air combination. So as we climb, we would need to lean the mixture, lessen the fuel that we put in, because the air is also getting thinner, so that we can maintain the right balance and we have the better fuel economy or better power depending on what we need. Let's go and look from external view for a moment. My goodness, that looks so real. I love it. Some large white structures here. That's, I think, is SM. It's the biggest landmark I can see. Let me know if you spot any other landmarks, okay? yeah, now I realize that recommendation from you guys of going to external view for the sightseeing. We should definitely do more of these. But I also really like the exterior view like this, so we'll keep that as well. Right? So let's keep on. Now in VFR conditions.
Robin 1 Charlie Lima, you are leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
There we go. Let's go ahead and switch.
Clark Tower Robin Romeo Papa, 1 Charlie Lima frequency change.
So what we can do is we can tune into Clark approach, and when tuning into a frequency, you can either just click this, or if you want a more immersive experience, what you can actually do as well is you can go to tune it manually like this and hear all those nice sounds with the radio, all those knobs, just very ASMR-ish. So I absolutely love that. Takes much longer, but is a lot more realistic. So request flight following.
Clark approach Robin Romeo
Should be
Papa,
southeast
1 Charlie Lima is type
airport.
Robin DR400 miles southeast of Clark. Request flight following.
Robin Romeo Papa, 1 Charlie Lima Clark approach. Squawk 0617.
0617.
Squawk 0617 Robin 1 Charlie Lima.
This is so they identify.
Robin 1 Charlie Lima radar contact 4 miles south of Clark, 2,600 feet. Altimeter 29.902.
Okay, that seems good.
Copy Robin 1
Position
Charlie
checks.
Lima.
So they know exactly where we are now, and this is just an additional precaution so they can have us in their sights, and whenever there is like traffic nearby, or when there is such kind of they need to contact us for some other reason, they can. So it's good practice to, even if you're flying VFR, from what I've learned, is to, if possible, request flight following like that. It's going to provide a much safer trip, so they know exactly where you are at all times. Right, heading to the southeast now, supposedly. Southwest, sorry. Right. Let's continue our climb here. The first time I flew here, it was a bit hard because I didn't know about the mixture, so my power just steadily just bled off. I think this one is a good example already. If you look at the RPMs, that gauge in the middle, this one, we're now down to 2300. Ideally we stick to 2500. So what I'll do is I'll pitch for 150 kph again here, keep that, and then I'm going to play with the mixture. You see that red handle, and you see the RPM immediately changing as we lessen the mixture. So that means we can get more power by getting the right balance of fuel. So as we climb, we'll have to lean the mixture bit by bit so that we can continue having that power for the climb. Otherwise, it can get very hectic. Oh, that's so good. Now from this view, I'm not actually sure which one is Mount Pinatubo, and I don't want to cheat. So we'll try to see. What we can do is we can refer to a map. Not a moving map, so we don't know where we are exactly, but a map, a basic map, just so we have an idea, and we can, like, based on the landmarks, see where we are. Okay, so that's the runway, so we should be right below, to the south of the airport. Okay, I think I get where we are here, so I should be able to just follow through here. I shouldn't be punching through clouds like this normally in VFR conditions, but don't tell anyone, okay? That's fine, we can make it work. Let me pitch down a bit here. Also, what I noticed, pitching for 150 kph speed is going to be the best for climb. Like, if you pitch up too much, the plane will not like it, and you'll end up climbing slower even if you pitch higher. It's a bit counterintuitive, but I guess it has something to do with, like, angle of attack or something like that. And I love how random those clouds look like. Okay, so we should be able to follow this body of water, and that should lead us to the peak of Mount Pinatubo. I wonder what highway that is as well. Looks like we also have a bridge there. Let me try and zoom into the maps here. Try and find... Okay, I think that's SC Tex actually. That's SC Tex again. Nice. So, let me see. Mount Pinatubo should be right there to our left, so we can just follow this river right here. What river is this anyway? Does it say? And how I know is I actually have another window open with Bing Maps. Of course, we use Bing Maps. I'll show you. There you go. So I don't know where I am exactly here, but I do. It's a good reference. So we saw that junction, right? Let me bank so you can see that junction, that like trombone junction. That is exactly this one, and that's like the river that we see. So that's SC Tex. And if we follow that straight ahead, then we should lead to Mount Pinatubo, and in the middle should be the, what they call it, Pinatubo Lake. I even have like a Wikipedia page in here, so we can like go through some facts as we fly along. Yeah, learning with Clumsy. But for now, let's try to get there in one piece first. Focus on flying, as they say. Aviate, navigate, then communicate, and then Wikipedia. Isn't that how it goes? And let's continue our climb here. There are also some like white artifacts here. I'm going to guess that's lahar, maybe, due to the volcanic eruption. We do see actually a lot of areas in the vicinity like that, especially on the other side of this mountain. We'll see that more. But if I got that wrong, you guys let me know. As always, we crowdsource this information because I cannot be the single source of truth. That will be very bad for everybody if that was the case. Alright, but my goodness, isn't that a view? And let's go external again. We can go a bit of sightseeing. How beautiful is that? The lighting, the textures, everything. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's have a look. RPM still at 2500. Okay, that's good. So we don't need to worry about mixture yet. As we climb, we'll have to lean that out bit by bit. Alright, we are continuing our climb. Very slow climb here. Only 500 feet per minute, as you can see here in the VSI, vertical speed indicator. But I think in this plane, that's as most as we can do. So let's try and avoid those clouds. That, I think, is the lake already. Beyond that, or this one. Oh, yeah, we'll know it soon enough. Okay, but yeah, as we follow that river, this should be at the peak of it. I'm just trying to avoid the clouds as well. And I am pitching too high. Let's go and get that 150 kph airspeed. Or how do you call it? It won't be airspeed anymore, will it? Speed, indicated speed in kph. Well, it's still airspeed. It's just a different unit of measure, so I'm going to keep on calling it airspeed. Oh, the suspense is real, guys. Maybe we can read up some facts while we're flying through here. Let's see. 1 second. Let me just try and keep this climb stable. So for those of you who are getting into the sim already, where have you flown first? I bet you guys flew to your own houses, tried to find it. Were you successful? Let me know in the comments, and maybe we'll see each other in the sky soon enough, because I do have enabled multiplayer here, so if you're flying in the same vicinity, you should be able to see each other at the very least. Go and wave at me if we come across each other. So we're now at 5,400 feet. Oh my goodness, this is much easier now. That mixture balance right there was key. Because look at this. If I keep my mixture to full, look how low the RPMs get. Like it's drowning the engine. So really have to balance it well. Some clouds here again. Trying to find that perfect mix. There we go. I think that's good. The mixture is halfway in there already, and fuel pumps actually can go off supposedly. That should be it right there. Let's go and continue our climb to 6,000 feet. At 6,000 feet, we should have enough space, headroom for a nice sightseeing. And I see a break in the clouds here, so I'm just going to try and squeeze myself in these clouds. That should be legal enough, as long as we don't punch through them or go near them, I think. Yeah, this is beautiful. So in the previous episode, we went full IFR flight, all the procedures and everything. It's very nerdy, very aviation-y, but there's something missing, right? The element of sightseeing, the element of exploration. It more or less, like most of the time you're stuck looking at your instruments, making sure that you get to where you need to go, and that's very practical. But this is a completely different joy altogether. Just now, this is just flying for the sake of flying, for enjoyment, and I'm absolutely loving it. Goodness. Alright, 6,000 feet, that's good. Can we climb a bit more? Well, we'll see. Maybe we can climb to 6,500 so to get an even better vantage point. Now there seem to be a couple of clouds in the way. We'll try and see if we can spot the lake. In the meantime, we can go and do a bit of trivia. Yeah, Wikipedia, enter. No. Wikipedia, enter again. There you go. So, what does it say? Most notorious for the June 15, 1991 eruption. I think I still remember that. I was still in the Philippines, living in Las Piñas during that time. And I remember that eruption. Man, what do you call it? Like the ash. It's been raining ashes, right? It felt like snow, but not really. It was grayish and I think lasted for days. But second largest terrestrial eruption of the 20th century. There, ash and rain to towns and cities. It even says that the effects were felt worldwide. Ejected roughly 10 billion tons of magma and 20 million tons of, what is that, sulfur dioxide. My goodness. Right, how are we? Still doing good on airspeed. We're now at 6,500 feet. Trying to spot where the lake is. I'm betting it's right in front of us. Oh, there it is. There it is. I can go external view and show you guys. One sec, let's get away from Wikipedia at the moment, for the moment. There it is, guys. Pinatubo Lake. Let me read up on some of that stuff. Lake Pinatubo. Woo, beautiful. Wait a minute. Let me go and make sure that we are not going to crash here. Okay, I think we can level off now. Alright, should be safe to level off. Just trying to trim the plane so I don't have to apply much force. There you go. That's trimmed. I don't even have any controls on the yoke. Actually, why should I should have used my joystick instead of my yoke in this case. My goodness. Yeah? Now, isn't that beautiful? I think that deserves a screenshot right there. That work? Oh, not really. Did that work? Okay, that worked. Nice. Wow. Yeah. Absolutely speechless. Right. That is so cool. And this is what I was saying. So like, you see all these white things? I'm betting those are all lahar. Like the magma that has cooled down and hardened. I think we're actually still pitching up here. No need for that. Can actually keep this altitude. There it is in all its glory. So Lake Pinatubo, I'm going to read something. In 1991, filled with water from annual monsoon rains in a crater lake, Lake Pinatubo was formed. In 92, a growing lava dome formed an island. I'm not going to read everything, but let's look at some real pictures. There you go. Lake Pinatubo, let's go and compare that with what we see. There it is. Alright, an aerial view of Mount Pinatubo. And now this is an aerial view in 2020. In Flight Simulator 2020, that is. That is so cool. You can really go sightseeing, go for history lessons in this sim, enjoy the scenery, and learn bit by bit how to fly a plane in the process. That is so cool. Okay, so what do we do now? Let me just lean the mixture a bit more. There you go, should be okay. But by the way, did you notice that? There's like an automatic, there's an exposure adjustment. Like when you look in your instruments, it makes them bright, and then when you look outside, it kind of dims it a bit so you don't get blinded. It's kind of like how your eyes do it, how the camera does it. It's a nice effect. I like that. Okay, so what I'm doing now is we're trying to follow the river towards the west. I think it's this one. One sec. Yeah, this river right here, I'm not sure what the name is, but that river flows through all the way to the West Philippine Sea right there. And Iba, the airport that we are landing on, should be right on that coast. And you'll get to see look of like the countryside feels, and it's going to look amazing, I'm going to tell you. So scenic. 7,000 feet above the air like this. Feels good, man. Oh my goodness, this sim. So yeah, I'm going to look forward to your comments because I want to hear stories of where you went, how your experiences with the sim, and we'll see. I am recording this a day before, so it's the 17th right now when I'm recording. So hopefully all goes well with the release and you guys get to jump in your own cockpits and we'll see each other in the air. I'm going to stream this on Wednesday, every Wednesday 8 a.m. Philippine Singapore time. I stream, and every Wednesdays recently I've been streaming Flight Sim, starting off in X-Plane, getting some practice in preparation for this one, and finally it's here. So we'll be streaming this on Wednesday, and if you guys want, you can hang out, you can even fly together. We'll see how it goes, but see you there. twitch.tv/theclumsygeek. Links should also be in the video description. Looking amazing. Now I guess we can go and start descending a bit, so I can actually just maybe dip down on the throttle like this, so we can start descending naturally, slowly. You guys enjoy the time-lapse video I posted? A very short 46-second time-lapse video. I recorded that in Mount Mayon in Legazpi Airport. It's quite nice because like this one, the clouds, you don't really see that they're moving, so they look static. and I kind of had doubts if it was really like transitioning properly because it looked so good. I didn't think it could get any better than that, so I put the drone mode on, sat there for like 10-15 minutes and just recorded. And then I put it in the editor, and then I had to look how the clouds looked like in a time lapse, and the result is that video. So yeah, that proves that the clouds do really move. It's just that they move very slowly, very much like in real life, right? And it just looks so
Robin
natural
1
here.
Charlie Lima contact Manila Center on 128 decimal tree.
Getting handed off. 1 Charlie Lima.
128 decimal tree for Robin 1 Charlie Lima.
Let's go and tune that manually because I want to be a bit more immersed here. 128.3. Switch. And let's contact them.
Manila Center, Robin Romeo Papa, 1 Charlie Lima, 5,900 feet.
Robin Romeo Papa, 1 Charlie Lima Manila Center, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.92.
Right, that looks good. Now what's strange is I actually had to change the weather. I'm not sure if something's wrong currently with the live weather system, but I'm comparing like the weather in other suppliers. Like in the net you can check like the weather in the airport, Meteor information, stuff like that, from what is that organization, NOAA, NOAA. And it said there should be clouds, but when you use live weather here, clouds are not existing. So I'm not sure, maybe there is a bug somewhere in the live servers. So this one is actually, we are currently in few clouds. We can go and try just to see if we go back to live weather. See how it looks. Yeah, it's nice, but not as scenic as when you have just a few clouds to spice up the picture, right?
EVA 271 descend and maintain 3,000 feet.
Ooh, it's another plane. I wonder if that's AI or an actual player. Because I do have settings for showing
Descend
all
and
the
maintain
players.
3,000 feet EVA 271.
That's cool. Where it is? Yeah, EVA 271. If you're a player, if you're a real person, hello. That's nice. And this is what I love about this. When you get proper clouds like this that don't blink in and out of existence suddenly, you can actually plan your way around, try and avoid them.
EVA 271, you are 64 miles northwest. Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect ILS runway 24 approach via Mike India Alpha transition.
And you can
Clear to
plan
Mike
how
India
that
Alpha.
works. Mike India Alpha is actually the VOR at NAIA International, so that person is landing in NAIA.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect
ILS
ILS
runway
runway 24
24.
approach via Mike India Alpha transition. Clear to Mike India Alpha EVA 271.
So yeah, they're going to NAIA International Airport. They'll be overflying the airport, that's the MIA transition, and then they'll be following the procedure to runway 24 for the ILS approach. Pretty cool that you can see that. Oh, that's amazing. I can already imagine it. Also, as of release date, VATSIM should be available, so maybe we can get into VATSIM soon as well. That's something that I still have to learn. VATSIM is this, if you haven't heard it, they did feature a video on it in the official Microsoft Flight Simulator channel. So they did have a feature video, and VATSIM is basically like an online platform for, let's keep this altitude to 3,500, I think should be okay. Push on the throttle here so we level out like so. And in terms of mixture, I think we need to make it a bit more rich because we are that went a bit too far. Because we are leveling, we are descending. Something like that maybe. Right. And that's how you avoid clouds here in this sim. It actually works now. Absolutely loving it. Now I wonder if you see clouds like this, and if you're in a multiplayer server, I'm guessing it should be synchronized somewhat. That what you see, how that clouds look like, how those clouds look like, they should also be exactly what the other players see. Otherwise it would be a bit weird trying to avoid them when you're seeing different things. Yeah, we'll see how multiplayer works in more detail once we get more players in. It'll be interesting. Start descending to 3,000 feet here. So that's what I was mentioning. This river, I think it's a river. You can try and search for that in Bing Maps. So we went on that kind of river here. This entire thing, which has like lahar and I'm not sure if that's entirely lahar actually, supposedly this one, because that is a very different color. But we are almost here now, so that merges into the West Philippine Sea right here. So right there, you can actually see those white things from this far away. So yeah, I think those are lahar. Hopefully I'm not that wrong. And Iba is right here. Let's maybe make sure that we are still traveling the same direction. Iba is right here. Is that Iba? Iba in Filipino means different, but the pronunciation of the different places can be quite unique as well, because we have our own, like each area in the Philippines has its own language and some differences in pronunciation, in words, and completely different that you cannot understand each other depending on the language. So oftentimes when we go to different areas like outside of Manila, the only way we can communicate with each other is by speaking English, which is quite interesting, but yeah, that's how way it works at the moment. So huge thanks again to Drow for recommending this route. I know a lot of you guys have other recommendations and I'd want to do them all, but a bit limited, so I'll have to pick them out. But I really like this one, because to be honest, I'm not very familiar with Mount Pinatubo. I mean, I know of it, but I didn't know like how exactly it looked like. I didn't even know it had a lake on its crater, and where it was in relation to like in Pampanga, near the airport, stuff like that. And these things I only realized when I flew here. It's quite similar. I'm not sure if you have the same experience. Like, have you ever had that moment when you were where you were driving on the roads, and you don't really know? So this is the time before the GPS, before the Google Maps, Bing Maps and everything, where you had to ask for directions. And when you were asking for directions, they would tell you, oh, turn left here, turn right here, do this, do that, and you would say, okay, but it wouldn't really stick. It wouldn't really stay with you. The only time you'll really remember, the only time you'll really learn those directions is once you get into the roads and experience it for yourself. And that's when it will click, turn left after the gas station, turn right before the dog that's hanging out by the side of the road. But yeah, there's stuff like that. It's exactly the feeling here that if I look at stuff from like Bing Maps, just look at it, oh okay, Mount Pinatubo is here, it looks like this, but it wouldn't stick with me. Like, I would need to know in 3D, like I would need to be there for the lesson to stick in my brain. And this, I think, is the perfect way to do that, and I'm just loving every bit of this sim. Yeah, the sightseeing, the flying these little planes all over the place, and just enjoying the flight dynamics as you enjoy the scenery outside. It is so good, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying these videos as much as I am recording them, because my goodness, this really is such a sight to behold. Look at that. Yeah, countryside feels. Farms. You have those little villages. Definitely feels like the Philippines. Now the airport should be somewhere here. Did I miss it? Kept talking too much. I actually did not see it. Ah, there it is. Okay, no problem. I see it. Airport in sight. I think it's time we go full mixture here again. We are pretty low now. I think at below 3,000 feet you can keep the mixture full, more or less. Fuel pumps to on, landing lights on. What else are we missing? We'll get flaps later on. We can cancel flight following here because we'll be switching over to the frequency for the airport.
Manila Center, Robin 1 Charlie Lima, cancel flight following.
Robin 1 Charlie Lima Manila Center cancellation received. Squawk 7000.
So we squawk
change
VFR
approved.
7000. Why does that number suddenly change? Okay, that looks good. So now what we do, that we've squawked VFR. Actually, I'm not sure if 7000 is also the VFR code here in the Philippines, but let's follow that. We go and tune in to IBA right here. Traffic on 122.9er. Can do that here. 122.9 I should say. I think we use point, not decimal. Decimal is usually for Europe, so let's track that. Let's select runway. What is this? Runway 14. So we are on the downwind leg of runway 14. Full stop landing. We are currently on downwind.
Romeo Papa Uniform India traffic, Robin Romeo Papa 1 Charlie Lima is on downwind runway 14.
Good. So that's just like courtesy. I don't think it's required that you announce that way, but it's like best practice. And here we go again with the landings, guys. I told you all about it already. Please don't expect too much. You've seen my past videos maybe. You've seen my past landings. I have a track record for living to my namesake. Staying true to my namesake. Okay. Let's go one notch of flaps here. Alright. Approach speed is I think 120 kilometers per hour. Let's continue our descent. Runway is right there. Let's get a bit more distance in there just so we have enough space for final approach. How's our speed? Yeah, let's just keep that in. Let's descend to like 1,000 feet and then keep it level like that in the meantime. Good. I think that should be good. Let's go ahead and turn base and announce it. So we are turning base.
Romeo Papa Uniform India traffic, Robin Romeo Papa 1 Charlie Lima is on base runway 14.
Also the visibility on this plane, this like canopy, super good. You can see the entirety. Not much blockage in the cockpit. It's great. Alright, go full flaps. Ready for landing. Let's turn final here.
Romeo Papa Uniform India traffic, Robin Romeo Papa 1 Charlie Lima is on final runway 14 to land.
Speed 120 is our approach speed. We are a bit high. No, I think we're good. Just keep it steady. But look at how real everything is looking like, right? Even the water, the waves on the water, the reflections, the clouds and everything. So good. How can this be? How can this sim be a reality? Beyond my wildest dreams that we can get something like this. Truly next gen. Love it. Okay. Continuing our approach here. I think we are a bit high. Start descending. Pulling from the yoke a bit, from the throttle rather. There we go. That's okay. So we should be landing on those strips in front. But I'm happy enough if we land semi, basically. Cut off the throttle. Just hold it off here. Why is there a car there that's crossing? Not exactly in center line, but I'll take it. That was not bad, I think. Maybe I could have flared a bit more, but plane isn't complaining. So brake here and stop. Turn off, maybe on this junction with the road. Oh, I love the sound of the engine. Flaps up. Turn off those lights. Oh. Doesn't want to turn. Okay, stop here. Stop here. Stop here. Thank you. Parking brake. Don't go to idle so much. The engine doesn't like that. Okay, nav lights can go off. Fuel pump can go off. Lights, I think I can turn off that one as well. Oh, and we have to announce that we are clear of the runway.
Romeo Papa Uniform India Traffic Robin Romeo Papa 1 Charlie Lima is clear of the runway.
Looking good, guys. Alright, so with that we turn off the radios. We then set the mixture to full lean, basically killing the fuel supply to the engine. And that is that. Turn off alternator, turn off the mags, turn off the battery, and we are done. Beautiful. Well, hope you enjoyed that trip with me. I surely did. Romeo Papa 1 Charlie Lima signing off for today. Catch you guys in the skies, in the virtual skies that is. Clumsy flying. Bye-bye.